Today on the Honda I am going to change this lever out, and I'm going to change this throttle cable out. I'm going to take the safety wire off of the choke linkage and put pins in there because I actually found the right size pins. And I'm going to try and get the carburetors hooked up to the gas tank. Also, I am going to change out this shock because the muffler blows on this, and it's I took this off and there's no dampening left. It's like a pogo stick. So I'm going to replace that with one off of the parts bike. And I'm also going to replace this bent, welded, and taped up shifter with another factory one that I took off the parts bike. I'm also going to be taking the swing arm off of this bike, and I'm probably going to end up changing it out for the one on the parts bike. And I'm also going to rebuild the sprocket drive hub assembly. Well, the main reason I'm recording this is just in case I forget how to put it back together, which I've done before. Tip for you, if you're doing work on older stuff that there might not be literature for, or stuff you're unfamiliar with, take pictures or video as you take it apart. It'll help you put it together. So I'm taking the throttle cable off, and you just undo this ring, and then this all comes out, as it normally looks like that. And this is in here with the sloped side. You can see, well, maybe one side of that's sloped and the other side isn't. Sloped side towards the engine, and then the cable just goes down into the bottom of here, so you need to compress this spring all the way back and then slip the little bullet on the end of the cable out. And then just put the new one back in just like this, which I've actually done on this side already. And I actually am going to have to take that one back apart because I didn't look which way this was in, and I think I might have this one in backwards. So I'm going to check that one out after I get this one done, and then I'll just hook this up to the handlebars, and I'll have my new throttle cable on. Well, I kind of screwed that up. You got to put it in this end first because you can't twist it on if it's hooked up to the carburetor. So I've got this end together. The internal wiring obviously doesn't let me open this very far, but I got it snuck in there. I got it in the throttle sleeve, and then I've just run it right here in between the gauges and the handlebar clamps and down along the side, and then one of them is longer than the other. The long one goes to the left and the short one goes to the right. So I'll just throw the carburetors back together and then I can move on. I think also today I'm going to do the handlebar isolation rubber. Okay, before I cover this all up the tank, I got my pins in, I got the new throttle cable in, and I'll go ahead and put the tank on and get all the gas lines hooked up. I got the lever replaced also. One more quick thing before I put the tank on. I just put this crankcase filter on. The factory diagrams, and from what I can tell, is from the factory this is just a hose that goes from here down to where the battery and everything drains. So I put an actual filter on here. I don't know how fumey this is going to be, but if it turns out there's a lot of fumes coming out of this and getting oil all over the engine and everything, I'll probably just take it off, put hose on it, get it away down here somewhere, and then put a filter in the end of the hose. Just because I don't want an open hose into the engine, especially the upper engine where all the valves and everything are at. So that's what it's going to be for now. Well, I've got the sprocket off, and the trick to getting the sprocket off is make sure you take this retaining ring off. And there are also these retainers. Normally one of these tabs will be bent up to hold the nut from moving. These weren't bent. But once you get that off, you can get to these cush inserts. Now my problem is I can't get any of these out. So I'm going to have to hammer, punch, drill, whatever I got to do to get these out, and then I'll put my new inserts in. which I've got right here. So that's what I got to do next. Okay, now that I got the new sprocket on and I've got these clips on, I just need to use a hammer and a chisel and hammer these up against the side of the nut here so it doesn't move. Okay, just like that. I've got one tab on each of the nuts folded up to keep it from turning. Well, this is the area that I was talking about that I thought was repaired, right here. And I don't know if that was where it was strapped down at one time, because it's like it on both sides, but it seems like over on that side, right here, it's kind of dimpled, so I'm thinking it was maybe repaired. So what I'm going to do is just swap the swing arms out since I've got a good one, and then I won't have to worry at all. Okay, now I've got these rubber bushings that go on the frame right here, and that's where the swing arm attaches, and you want to make sure these are good because this keeps dust out of your swing arm pivot. And they're a very cheap piece. I think they're $1.20 a piece, so it's a cheap investment for something that could possibly save a swing arm.